Okay. Most of the cell cycle is spent in this thing called interphase. This is this resting period. An interphase can be broken down into 3 different parts. We have the first growth phase, we call that the G1 phase. And what's going on in this part is that the cell is just acquiring nutrients, acquiring resources, and getting bigger. So it was a cell that was just born, and now it has to grow up before it gets its full job. Okay. Now, once that cell has acquired a big enough, we're going to do a stop. We're going to check to make sure that everything's good, that we have enough resources in order to create more DNA. So the next phase in interphase is the S phase, because we are going to synthesize DNA. So S for synthesis. So we're going to make DNA. After the DNA is produced and we have 2 copies of all of the chromosomes present, we're going to get into the second growth phase, because hot diggity dang, it took a lot of energy to make all that DNA. And so now we have to have a recovery period before we start doing something else that's going to cost us a lot of energy for the cells. Now, we have to do, before we start to actually split into different cells, we want to make a little check. We want to make sure that all the DNA is present and it's not damaged and that everything's cool. And so we are going to have this G2 check phase before we enter mitosis. Okay. So the mitotic phase is the short-lived phase, but it's where all the exciting stuff happens. So we're going to spend a lot of time in our class talking about it, even though it's a very small portion of what cell's life cycle actually is. So this is a mitosis, is when we're going to split the DNA, right? We're going to copy the DNA, we're going to put it into 2 piles, and then we need to actually take that cytoplasm and split it up into 2 equal portions. What we're going to get from mitosis, this is important, put this in your notes, put a little big little star next to it. We are going to get 2 genetically identical daughter cells that are genetically the samesies as their parent. But I do want to show you this hand motions that will help you remember the phases of mitosis. Okay. First of all, in prophase is where we're getting rid of that nuclear envelope. We're condensing that DNA from chromatin into chromosomes. The next phase is going to be metaphase, where the chromosomes line up along the equatorial plane. Then we're going to go into anaphase, where those chromosomes are start to be pulled apart to the opposite ends of the cell. And then we're going to have telophase and cytokinesis. So when you guys are doing your homework and when you're taking your quiz and your exam, I want you to be going prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. Prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. So do that a few times. When you're kind of hanging out and you're studying and you're kind of running through this stuff in your mind, do these hand signals. Make people on the bus go, what the hell are they doing? Prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. Okay. Teach that to your mom, teach it to your dog, teach it to your little sibling, but go through those stages, because that's going to make your life this week and next week a lot easier if you understand the order and can kind of use this kinetic movement to help you explain what is going on in the cell at each of those stages.